You are listening to the Creative Talks podcast, presented by the Architectural Authority magazine.
Being little kids, having to grow your business, try to meet clients, be there for them, doing homework with them. Now they're getting older. That I don't have to be so much on top of them and stuff like that. So it's easier. But in the first stages, it's hard trying to do both and not feeling guilty that you don't have time for your kids.
That's what I see more and more with the younger moms.
Mm-hmm.
They tell me it's just that I feel guilty because I'm not there when they get back from school. And I think it's something that happens to most of us as women.
Right.
But we have to pursue our careers, our passions. That's also something they appreciate. That's what I think, because they see you happy with your life.
This video is brought to you by the Stones and More Group, a leading wholesale distributor with over 2 decades providing top-quality porcelain, ceramic, slabs, mosaics, panels, and building materials, crafted to transform any space.
Welcome to Creative Talks. Today I'm joined by Irene Fister, founder of Fister Design and licensed interior designer with over 20 years of experience across residential, commercial, and hospitality sectors. Irene's work is a study in balance, blending classical structure with modern and eclectic flair, all while keeping functionality and client experience at the core. Her portfolio includes boutique hotels, luxury residences, and commercial interiors throughout the US, Latin America, and the Caribbean. For those of us in the trade, Irene's approach to detail, collaboration, and storytelling through design is truly inspiring. Irene, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here finally.
Thank you, Cindy.
I want to start with a story that I read about you when I was preparing for the podcast, in which you were going to go for the field of business while you were young.
Right.
That would have been a mistake. What opened your mind to the creative side?
I was back in Costa Rica for high school. My parents, we had moved around a lot.
You are original from Costa Rica?
I was originally from Costa Rica, but I grew up in Virginia. Okay. So my parents went back to Costa Rica to renovate a hotel, an old historical house into a hotel. And so I found myself there in my senior year of high school, right before going to college. And my art teacher asked me, what are you planning on doing? And I said, no, something in finance, business, in that. And he said to me one sentence, you don't have a business mind, you have a creative mind. So that made me think, well, everything's a business, but okay, let me explore this. And since we were meeting with the architect, I ended up in architecture school.
Yeah, so you fell in love with the process that your parents were going through, and you were exposed to these meetings that we now have every day.
Exactly. I was going with the architect and my parents to, look and see what they were doing in the hotel they're going to renovate. And that sentence that art teacher said to me, plus me going to these meetings, I'm like, well, okay, maybe I should explore this. And
that opened your mind.
That opened my mind to trying something different that I'd never planned in my life.
Wow. In your family, there's no background of architecture or design?
No, there's other kind of businesses, but I do say my mom has taught me a lot as far as, when you're growing up, about colors and patterns. And
she has the artistic side.
She definitely has the artistic side. And she's amazing at at anything she puts her hands to, she's amazing. So I always grew up watching her and seeing that, but not in an educative, college level or educational level.
And you studied in Costa Rica, architecture, and then you came to Miami and FIU and moved to interior design.
Correct. Yeah, I did my year, and it was a private a private school down there is architecture school. And then I transferred over to FIU and I did my degree in Bachelor's of Science in Interior Design, but that was 1996. It's been a while that I've been doing this.
So your first project was at 17 with your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
You got your hands on it?
Well, I got not a little bit, but then that things happened and we came back to the United States, and so just school and my life started taking over.
And once you finished your career, you started working for a firm or several, or you had your experience.
Right.
When did you decide it's time for me to go solo? Or how was your first years in this field?
The first years, I could write books about that. It was a lot of different. It's been 29 years to be exact.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. And I worked for 4 different companies before I went on my own. The first company, the boss was nice. She was more into like sales of furniture and things like that. And then each time as I grew and changed different companies, the experience was different. The type of projects they were doing different.
Mhm.
One particularly job in general made me suffer. I mean, the she had amazing projects with related group, a lot of
Mhm.
nice high end Continuum, the yacht club, I mean, I could name so many different projects. The yacht
That you were involved
that I was
in the
involved with
design
in the
team.
design team with her.
Great.
But I never knew walking into the door if it was going to be a good day, a bad day, if she's going to be screaming, if she's going to be nice. We went to
Okay.
amazing functions and events and galas, so that was nice. But
Mhm.
it was just the treatment. I
Right.
suffered a lot, but I grew a lot with the
Yeah.
type of people.
Usually those are the experiences that shape us.
Exactly. And the
Mhm.
type of people she hired too, like everybody that went in, I was a little sponge learning more from them and how to do things and the design process, drawings in general and materials and vendors. So I just took a lot of that and learned it. I appreciated those 2 years. Now I see it as suffering, but I learned a lot.
Right.
And then I worked for another company for 11 years. And when I
Okay.
was with him, I was like, okay, well, when am I finally going to go on my own? And I loved that boss like a brother. I mean, he was amazing. It was 11 people at that time working under him. And it was in 2008 at the worst time of the economy
Right.
that I decided, okay, if
Oh
not
my God.
now, when?
When?
So I opened up my company. I was very honest with him. I sat down. I told him, look, not today, but soon in the future, this is my next steps. This is what I want to
Mhm.
do. And basically he gave me his blessing. I told him when I'm ready to go, I'll give you notice and time. But he knew 2 years before I actually left his firm. And I
Okay.
wasn't gonna bite the hand that fed you. He was
Right.
amazing. So I took everything that when I went on my own, I took nothing from him or I'd never tried to contact his clients or anything like that.
Yeah,
So,
well, that speaks about your
mhm,
integrity, which is also one of the things that you pride the most in your
right,
projects. What you do for your clients, how you manage your budgets, how are you transparent with them.
right,
So, definitely everything that happened in your career after that,
mhm.
it's because you were ready.
Right,
Because in the
exactly.
first years, you had golf courses and a lot of things that were
Right.
big.
Right. Yeah, no,
Tell
when
me about those.
I mean, I've done golf course facilities, which is basically the clubhouses, remodeling them, but
Uh-huh.
not here in Miami. It's been in Arizona, Virginia, California,
Wow.
Ohio. So when I first started on my own company, a really good friend of mine, he managed golf courses and he referred me to these projects. So I had to travel and do that. And then that has grown into a flooring supplier introduced me to a developer. So with him, we did like 8 different homes, very large, 5,000, 10,000 square foot homes, and helping
Hmm.
him with all the specs. Then that transitioned to hotels. I've done,
Wow.
Lennox Hotel on Miami Beach. I was one of the designers involved in there. Two
Hmm.
Holiday Inns, one on 79th Street. That everybody that drives up and down I-95 has seen that one. That day, a Holiday Inn turned into I think a Days Inn now, or I'm not sure which. I forgot which one it is right
Brand.
now. And then another Holiday on 43rd and Ocean. Sorry, 43rd, 33 Collins. That I remodeled that whole building as well.
Now don't go so fast.
Yeah.
I want to stop at the first, well, the developer. When you had the opportunity to do whatever you want. Isn't
Mhm.
that the best experience in our field?
Yes, it
Like when
is.
you are, look, this is your canvas, you
Mm-hmm.
do what you imagine, you pick the materials.
Exactly.
I'm having that experience right now and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's a great feeling that you can just
Yes.
put something creative design, and as long as it's within budget and
Right?
what they're planning and spend, and working for the space. No, it's great. The only limiting about that is that since there's no homeowner at that time, it has to be a little neutral.
Right?
You can only get creative to a certain point.
Right.
So that's the benefits and the negatives about that.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a homeowner that you
And
can
you don't
really
usually get to furnish it at the
right now.
end.
Yeah.
So the fun part we miss a little bit, but I would
Exactly.
love to do
Mhm.
many of these spec homes because, well, first the background
Yeah.
in materials, it's usually something I really love to
Right.
work with.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of the design process?
The favorite part of the design process. Well, just dealing with the people. I mean, like
Hmm.
that communication back and forth and organization of what comes first, what comes next, and making sure that if it's not done first, it's going to be a chain ball of events that can get worse. Or, if you do it right, everything goes nice and smooth.
Hmm.
And we know in construction, there's a lot of headaches and problems that can come
Yes.
up. So just making sure you manage it correctly and timely and avoid as many problems as possible. There's always going to be problems.
Always.
Always. And you never will know when they're going to come from. But as long as everybody has a good attitude and gets it done and tries to be, a team, then that's what makes it, the big difference.
And hospitality, that's also super fun because you can use every element that you can think of. You are like open to a lot of colors, and hospitality came to you how?
Hospitality, it was an architect that was working on a project, and he said, Irene, I need a designer to get involved. So he recommended me to one hotel, and then that same month, a flooring installer, no, I'm sorry, a furniture. It was a furniture supplier. He was furnishing for a hotel, and he said, "Hey, Irene, they're interested in designer." So in 1 month, I ended up with two completely different Holiday Inn projects. And to do Holiday Inn projects, you can't just go in and get hired. You have to go back and do training. So I had to go to IHG and do a 3-day like seminar and do the training that they have.
Because you have to follow certain
Guidelines, right? Yeah.
guidelines, and
It's very strict. I mean, it's
Right.
not, you can't just go into, especially if it's a flag hotel, you have to do what they say you can do. So
Mhm.
the paperwork is very extensive.
Mhm.
Everything has to be a specification page, samples, materials, everything has to
and
be
brand
code,
approved.
brand
Even
approved.
the brands of the fixtures, I remember
Right.
that when selling to hospitality.
Exactly, but brand approved. But one particular project, the one on I-95 and 79th Street, the client, he wanted brand approved, but he wanted to think a little bit outside the box. So he pushed Holiday Inn and IHG to have meetings where we could be a little bit different. He didn't want to have the typical Holiday Inn that you find
Mhm.
everywhere. He wanted a Miami, more modern, like very different, sharp colors. So we were able to achieve that. So that was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. And what would you say is your favorite type of project out of residential, commercial, and hospitality?
I love them
All of
all because
them.
they're
All of
fun.
them.
It's just,
Yes.
it boils down to how the clients treat you. If the clients treat you nicely and they're on board with just going with you and understanding the process, and
And they let you
they
lead.
let you lead and be creative,
Exactly.
and again, we're building a team with the client. But as long as they just, the worst problems that happen usually arise is when somebody starts giving a problem, and then that problem turns into another problem, and it just sort of grows, and it makes those projects miserable for everybody. So as long as we can, keep a good attitude and know things are going to happen, then everything flows
And you
better.
were saying in one article that they wrote about you that at the beginning you were so young, and one of the challenges was to get this constructor, the contractor, or everyone in the
Right.
job site to listen to you.
Exactly.
Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that, because I'm sure it happens to all of us.
Yeah, no, here comes this young girl, and it's this
Mhm.
construction site, with concrete on the floor and nothing going on, and saying, "Oh no, we're gonna change this, we're gonna do that," and they come in and look at me like I'm crazy. What are you
Mhm.
talking? You don't know what you're doing. So it's like, on top of being a young girl and walking in and telling these people who've been doing this for a long time that, like, wait, we're gonna do this a little
Right,
different.
my way.
They would, at first, sort of like, you don't know what you're talking about. But then when they started to get to know me, they realized, they started respecting and listening to me. But it was always a challenge. I could see it in their face that I would walk on to the job site and I'm like, oh no, here's this, she's gonna create problems for us, or make it
Uh-huh.
more complicated, or she doesn't know what she's talking about,
Yeah.
and
That's why I like to have this culture in which I'm super friends with them. I bring them coffee
Right.
or some tequeño, something to gain
Yeah.
their trust, because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
what happens in that job, it's their, I mean, it's their
Responsibility,
hands.
yeah.
It's their hands. So
Yeah.
we want to have a good relationship
Exactly.
throughout.
No,
So
we design, but we're only good as our trade. So like, they make us look good.
totally.
So it's like, as long as the trades do a good job, then we shine. If they don't,
Exactly.
then
That's why we have to keep an eye and be friends with everybody. That's
Exactly.
my philosophy, at least.
100%.
Yeah. And what's happening right now at the studio? Where are you? Because you moved from Miami Beach. You were
Right.
there for a long time.
Yeah, I had my studio in Miami Beach for 13 years, and then with COVID, I
Uh-huh.
realized that no, I didn't want to do the drive. Now I lived now I live in Doral. I wasn't living in Doral. I was living further south in Kendall. So with the whole COVID change and everything like that, I didn't want to be going back and forth, and the kids and the pickup. I mean, you're still a businesswoman, but I'm still a mother.
Right.
I still have to deal with my kids' times and schedules. So I decided, like, I might as well find something closer to the home and kids' school, and so I moved it to here in Doral, and I'm so happy that I did. And it's been a fantastic change. The parking is a lot easier than Miami Beach,
Mhm.
But I had some good years. But I'm happy to be here and just easier.
And also, like, the dynamics change. Everything we do remotely nowadays. So, really, maybe Miami Beach was a place closer for your clientele.
Well,
I
I
don't know.
got the hotel client one time he was interviewing me, and he said, he's like, okay, everything's perfect. There's just one thing I need to see. I need to see your office. And he's like, you haven't established. I'm like, yes, yes, come to my office in Miami Beach. It's there, no problem. But he wanted to make sure that I wasn't working out of home, that I wasn't working
Okay.
in a garage, that I had an established business
Mm-hmm.
before he hired me. And the minute
Wow.
he came by and he sat in my chair, he's like looked around, he's like, okay, now I'm ready
Let's
to sign. And he signed a
Wow.
check and signed the, but if he hadn't done that, or who knows if I would have had an office somewhere else.
Wow, this is such a game changer for some of the interior designers right now that
Right.
only hold their studio at home, and we're usually walking around
Right.
through the job sites and visiting the clients. But it's important for a good brand or a big hotel or a big client
Right.
to see who you are through
Exactly.
your office space.
I think he just wanted to make sure I was going to be a fly by night designer or something like that. And I had to explain, no, I'm licensed. I've been doing this for a long time.
Mhm.
The type of jobs that I had, but he specifically wanted to see my office before hiring me.
Wow.
So,
And that doesn't happen anymore.
no,
No.
I mean, I think we're now people are more used to remote things like that.
Right.
But at that moment, it was
Yeah, it was big.
it opened my eyes, and I'm like,
So right now you are in Doral with your team.
right.
And what kind of projects are you doing right now?
No, we have 18 ongoing projects right now, and they're all residential. They're well, that's not true. I still have one of the hotels that comes back and forth with a couple things here and there. They're still finishing because they tend to be a long time, right?
Yes.
And things happen, but and mostly it's all residential. And no, we have it. They're different stages, different sizes, so that's a good thing. One thing starts, another stops, so you just never know what one day from another is going to be something else. You never know.
Did you ever imagine where life was gonna take you from when that day you decided I'm going to
No.
do this on my own?
Not at all. Not
Because
at all.
you've grown so much, Irene. You are somebody to admire.
Right.
You help everybody.
Yeah, no,
in
thank you.
the
No,
trade.
and I didn't have a network here. Like I didn't grow up here. I went to school, but it was FIU back then was more of a drive in, drive out. They didn't have like such a enormous, beautiful campus as it is now. So I didn't have a network of saying, okay, I'm going to pull clients from here. So it's been really nice to, it's just grown or organically basically. And social media wasn't back then either. So haven't done really any advertising. Any advertising that's been out there for me has been because people have done an interview or have come out with a magazine article about me or something like that. So that's been a blessing, and I'm very,
Yes.
very honored that it's been like that.
And now that everything is changing and everything is technology, do you use artificial intelligence at all?
I mostly for like correcting my emails.
Yeah.
I go through and I like, okay, wait, how would ChatGPT put this a little better?
We're becoming dependent on that. We used to think enough, and now we have to pass it everything.
I always write it, but I'm like, let me see
ChatGPT.
how they would put it a little better.
I do the same.
But no, I think AI is going to be, doing a lot for us in so many different fields.
Yes.
But what I want to know more is about the renderings. I mean, that's crucial that people are, homeowners are probably going to an artificial to see and how to maybe take jobs away from us in a sense. And that worries me a
I'm
little
not scared
bit.
of that because, like you said, the relationship part,
How
relationship
to
is
build
so
it afterwards.
important.
Yeah.
For an outcome to be just like the client wants, you have to know the client, you have to have a relationship, and you have to be psychologist and understand. So that ChatGPT is never going to.
Well, and how to put it together, the
take that.
stages, like finding the materials, the costs, where to get it, and what builds first, what comes next.
Yes, I do think that we have to use it on our favor, like to help us, to be faster. It can give you a report in minutes of all the things that you need, for example, to furnish a home in a minute. So it can facilitate.
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. It's an aid, like a
So
second hand of
think
a smaller assistant type of thing.
That's how we can handle it. Yeah, you can name it nowadays.
No, and even for the renderings, I mean, a client can go on there, maybe create their idea and bring that to us. Of like, oh, I'd like to create something like this.
Like when Pinterest came on board, and everyone comes with 5 different styles, and they say, okay, I want to pick from here, and they're all different.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. I have a little trivia that I want to play with you.
Okay.
It's questions. Don't get scared. It's just fun design questions, but I always do it with the guests.
Mhm.
And I want to know a little bit more about you. This is more of your personal
Okay.
preferences. Would you go modern or vintage?
Modern.
Favorite design era? Art Deco, mid-century, Bauhaus.
Oh, I love them all.
Yeah,
That's hard because as a good designer, you can just take from each
you
one
can love them
and how to
all.
mix them and make them a little bit and grab a little bit of,
Yeah.
information from each one.
That's a
So
great answer.
I don't think you have
And
to get
what
stuck
would
in
you
one.
say that inspires more your interiors nowadays?
I mean, the trends, obviously, but I always tell my clients, I design for you. So
Uh-huh.
it's like at the end of the day, I'm gonna be leaving, and this is your house, your office, your establishment. So I'm gonna make it to what you want, your budget, your design, how are you gonna use it. So I can come up and guide you the right way, but ultimately, I'm not designing for me. So I'm not
Right.
gonna come in and do maybe because my design is a little bit more modern. I'm gonna design it that way. If you're more traditional, no problem. As a good designer, I can design anything. So
Yeah.
I'm going to cater it to what you need. Yeah.
Super. And you see more traditional, the trend right now, right?
I'd say a little bit of everything though.
Yeah.
Like there's some very traditional light
There's
fixtures
Art
with,
Deco as well.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So,
Go-to material, marble, wood, or concrete?
oh, I love wood.
Wood,
I love
natural wood.
Yeah, natural wood. It just has a warmth that,
Yes.
once you put a little piece of wood in anything, it just brings the warmth immediately.
Yeah. Dream hotel to redesign.
Oh, that's a hard one. I've done these a couple, but dream hotel to redesign. I think because my background is in Costa Rica, and I'd love to,
Uh-huh.
and the ecology there, and the mixture of like I just mentioned, the wood with the modern, and the comfortable, and that kind of setting, and fresh open spaces, and a lot of natural light and nature. I think something like that would be, mostly.
Listen, guys, in Costa Rica, we have a fabulous designer waiting for you. Most used app on a job site.
The most used app on a job site.
It
Oh,
could
I
just
mean,
be
Dropbox.
Instagram.
No, I mean
Dropbox.
Dropbox to me is
You
everything.
can't live
I
without
cannot.
it.
That's where all the
we
files
can't live
are.
without the
That's
phone.
I can't live without the phone. But Dropbox is it. I mean,
All
that's
your files, so everything is there.
there. Yeah, everything is there.
So when you go to a meeting, this is it.
Well, that or a little tablet, but still, I'll go to Dropbox to pull the
Uh-huh.
drawings and the information or the estimates. But yeah, I can't live without Dropbox.
Perfect. One design rule you love to break. Is there one?
One design rule that I'd love to break.
I think I should have given you some time to think this one.
About that one. I don't know. A design rule I'd love to break.
That there are no rules.
No, there really are no rules.
Maybe that's the rule we have to break. There are no rules.
It's whatever. I mean, no. I mean, there's rules as far as how things get done, so it gets done right.
Right.
But as far as how you want it or when you want it, or
Mhm.
like mixing colors and stuff like that, no, not really.
There's
Certain
rule.
colors look better than others, but it's ultimately what you want.
Definitely. Is there a favorite city for design inspiration? What is yours?
Favorite city for I love Italy.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody
just
loves
the
Italy.
classical architecture where it all started, and
Yeah.
the ruins, and I mean, luckily we've been able to go twice to Rome, and every single time it's just a fresh of breath air, seeing everything,
Totally.
and just the awe and the massive structures and how they build that, and
Mhm.
it's incredible.
And would you like to do a hotel over there?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to
yeah.
live over there. Retirement in Italy.
Yes. First design project you ever did. What was it?
My first design project that I ever did. Oh wow.
It
that
could be
takes
working
back.
for yours.
It was, I guess, when I worked for a lady named Pucci Rojo, and it was all mostly residential. I can't remember the first one, but it was definitely more sales of furniture and accessories and
And
things like
when
that.
you were on your own, what was your first
When I went,
one?
well, the golf courses.
The
Yeah,
golf
the
courses?
first
Wow,
project
you
was,
went big
yeah, the
from
golf
the
courses.
beginning.
Mhm.
And what did you have to do there? You had to keep a consistent design between the
No, they're all
different.
different. They were all. It was they managed different owners and different parts of the country, so each one was different. But no, some of them is just you change out all the carpeting when you're going over there, and
Mhm.
the patterns and how it would work out. Others were just paint colors, outdoor
Did you have
furniture.
to learn about golf at all?
No, not
No.
really. No, because it was a golf club facility, and my husband is an avid golfer as well. I mean, he's an avid sports fan of
Yeah.
any sport, but he was playing a lot of golf, so I knew some of the background already. But it was just the golf course and how each one manages their members and what they wanted to show their members and that
Mhm.
information. But it was very individual, like every project is
Yep.
very
So
individual.
you didn't have to pick the same colors
No,
for
no,
each.
each
No.
one was completely different owners.
That's great.
Yeah.
Color you secretly can't stand but still use. Is there one?
No, I love all the colors.
Yeah.
I think they're beautiful how you use them and just I don't think there's one color that I can't stand.
If you weren't a designer, what would you be doing?
I've always
Business?
said no. I always know exactly. Well, I wanted to study astronaut. I wanted to be an astronaut. That's where like
No
my
way.
dream. My dream as a child was to be an astronaut. That quickly went away.
That's a
I guess
surprise.
reality kicked in. But I always said if I wasn't a designer, there's two jobs that I probably think that I would have gone into. Basically, one would be marketing because it's still creative
Right.
and use
Mhm.
of things. The other one would be party planning because it's
Mm.
very similar to interior design. It's
Yep.
just putting all the vendors and materials and things together
Yep.
and creative functions and events,
Yeah.
especially wedding. I love the whole wedding
Yeah.
venues. I had a great time planning my wedding. But
I
I
feel
think
the same. Like
I think
event
that
planning,
yeah,
it's meant for us.
exactly.
Yeah, we can do it.
Mhm.
And talking about creativity and marketing, how do you handle your social media? Are you active? Do
Mhm.
you usually get clients through there? What are your thoughts on
No,
that?
no, I think with what we do, since it is a little luxury level, I think it's more a little bit people look at the pictures and they obviously check out what you've done. And
Mhm.
maybe they'll get influenced in calling you or something, but it's all more word of mouth of who's used you before and how your experience has been with them. Um yeah, of course, I'm trying to put more social media out there. The past year I had someone helping me and we stopped for a little while because she got a large project. So we're gonna see if we
Because
bring it back
it
on.
is another full-time
It
job.
is another
It
full-time
is.
job, right?
And
So
you have to stay on
I'm not
top of the
I'm not
trends.
very good posting at all. I need to get better at it. And I'm too much into my brain because I
You
see that
see, that's where you use ChatGPT.
the project is not complete. So I'm like, oh, that's not ready yet. The picture is not ready. It could be better. So I start doubting myself so I
Right.
don't post. So I
Mhm.
accumulate a lot of things in my phone and they're not organized. And I'm like, wait, I need to post. And then I never
Just
get to it.
post the process in
I,
stories. Do
I
that.
you know,
Mhm.
I get
So
too
we
much
can
into
see
my head.
more of you. Usually, how's your day? You start at the office. You start at the site. How's
That's
your
what
day?
I love about this job. You never know because every single day, you never know when all of a sudden you're going to get a call a client. They want to see you, but no, every day is different. I mean, I
Mhm.
might start at the job site. I might start meeting a client. Yesterday, we're looking at tiles and slabs for
Mhm.
countertops. Sometimes I have to, yes, be in the office, get some
Yeah.
paperwork done, or be in my office a lot to help my staff. I'm like, okay, what's the next step? You got this
Mhm.
done. Now we need to get the next thing done.
And
Answer
normally
emails.
Mondays are a day like that, like
No,
admin. No.
Mondays I was at the out yesterday looking for slabs at 9:30 in the morning. So I never know.
It's never.
It's never. I
You
don't
can't
have
plan
a.
it.
Mm-mm,
And sometimes there is a job site visit, the
right.
inspector's coming, or
Yeah, especially when you have several projects going on at the same time and they're all in different stages. I never know what one day is going to be. That of course I
Mhm.
try to plan it, but even
Of
when
course, we tried to plan
we
this
try to plan
podcast for a
it,
few months,
yes,
and now here we are.
exactly.
Finally, I also play with Irene paddle, so that's one
Right.
of your hobbies. You play tennis.
I play. I can't say I play tennis. I move the ball in tennis. Let's say
Uh-huh.
my husband plays tennis.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
move the ball in
We
paddle.
moved the ball and paddle. We're getting better. We're getting better.
It's been 2 years already that
Really?
we've
It's
been
been 2
training continuously.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe it's been 2 years.
We're coming out of beginners.
Yay! Finally.
Yay. And then with your kids, what do you do in your free time?
We love to travel. I mean, I love to as soon as we can try to plan a vacation or something like that. So mostly that like and when they have time, of course we have to plan around their school schedules.
Right.
But and I do like to watch movies and shows and things like that. And my daughter loves Broadway musicals. So
Mhm. And how is it to be a mom and having a career like
it's
interior
easier
design?
now
Mhm.
because their kids are older. Like I don't have to be there as much as like
At the beginning.
right in the beginning when they're younger, I was a lot harder. being little kids, having to grow your business, try to meet clients,
Right.
be there for them, doing homework with them. Now they're getting older that, I don't have to be so much on top of them and stuff
Yes.
like that. So it's easier. But in the first stages, it's hard trying to do both and not feeling guilty
Right.
that you don't have
That's what
time
I
for your
see more
kids.
and more with the younger moms.
Hmm.
They tell me it's just that I feel guilty
Right.
because I'm not there when they get back from school. And I think it's something that happens to most of
Hmm.
us as women,
Right.
and but we have to pursue our careers, our
Hmm.
passions. That's also something they appreciate.
Right.
That's what I
Exactly.
think, because they see you happy
Hmm.
with your life.
Right. Yeah. No. And it's interesting when my daughter defends me because, her friends will say, "Oh, well, your mom didn't do this," and my daughter's like immediately, "No, but she's busy working right now, so
Hmm.
she has that. I understand when she's not here to do X, Y, and Z with me, and I try to be there as much as I can, obviously,
Right.
but I like it that she defends me
That's
against,
great.
yeah.
That's good that they do that. Any messages that you would like to give to young designers or architects that are thinking on starting their own business or doing something with hospitality or just coming to the next step? I think
Right.
we have to keep growing. I think
Yeah, it's
that's
growing.
important.
I would just say it's not easy. I mean, it's a field that's always with headaches, always with problems, but it's challenging and it's rewarding when you get things done and you get that one person. Thank you. I love my space. I love what you
Yes.
did. It's gorgeous. I'm so happy. That gratification is beautiful. But yeah, it's you're gonna have days where you want to pull your hair out. There's days where you want to give up. But if you get a good team behind you and people that are there to do things right and not to cut corners and do the construction the way it needs to be, and the clients realize that and appreciate it,
Hmm.
that's when you finish and they're just even afterwards they're thanking you. And the proof is when they come back and a couple years later hire you again, which
Yeah.
has
Or
happened
they
to me.
send you a good friend.
Exactly, good
Hmm.
referrals, but
Yeah.
that happens a lot. Several years later, it's like, oh, now we want to renovate this part, or you know what, I moved, you're gonna come with me.
Hmm.
I have a couple projects like that and a couple of clients that
I
have
had
hired
the
me.
opportunity to collaborate with you with the rugs,
Hmm.
and you told me that you had that client forever.
Right, exactly, like
So
17 years correctly.
17 years with a client,
Hmm.
and she just changes or
Right.
wants to update, and she's always relying on you. That's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah. So that's when you've got a good connection with the client and that it
Hmm.
works. So
And at that point, you already read their minds.
right.
You already know, no, she's not gonna like that. No, I know my client, she's
Exactly.
gonna
Yeah.
want it this way.
And you always have surprises. People
Yeah.
change, but that's what makes it interesting, the challenges and the surprises. And then it's definitely not a boring job or every day is going to be the same. It's always
No,
something
yeah.
interesting.
And you mentioned it's 29 years?
29 years. Yeah.
29 years.
Yeah.
What has happened in 29 years? Everything.
Mm.
So, can you like share some anecdotes about stressful moments or something very challenging that you had to overcome in the
I
projects?
think challenging is mostly when you've done everything right and some reason the client doesn't want to pay you.
Mm,
And that is like, well, what happened? Like,
right.
why aren't you communicating with me? Or you're just trying to cheat me out of money that I've earned. And that's hard because you think I've done everything smoothly. At least talk to me, get it out. And or they just that happens. I mean, it happens in any business, I guess. But that's always a challenge and it's upsetting. So that's just
That
sometimes
must be
just
hard.
let it go because I don't want the headache and I don't want the stress and
Hmm.
like try to work it out. But and just move forward and not take that, make you have a bad experience for the next one. Just like, okay, it happened,
Yeah.
move on, next.
Yeah, it wasn't you, it was that
Right,
client.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And what about a challenge in the construction or in, like, for example,
Mm.
the floor arrived in a different color? So things
Oh
like
yeah,
that
but
that happen to us
that,
every day.
I mean, I try to avoid that as much as I can by being really hands-on and checking things, but things can happen. Everything can happen. It's how the attitude that you go with it. If
Hmm.
you want to scream at everybody and pull hairs and and like complain about it, yeah, it's
Like
just
when
gonna
you
make
are
everybody
doing
miserable.
hospitality, yeah,
Right.
and we were talking with somebody else that does large scale projects. When you make one mistake in the
Hmm.
spec books, or we didn't realize that
Right.
there was something, it's multiplied by 250
Right.
units.
Yeah.
So you have to have an extra care
Yeah, no, that's what that, yeah.
on the
And
volume projects.
I think that is just, being really on top of things, having a couple pair of eyes, like on top of things. Like I had another lady that worked for me and she was meticulous, and I had her doing particularly the hotel projects, because she would take a lot of time, but very precise about everything. So just that. And then I'd, look it over and we submit, and luckily nothing like that has ever happened to me, knock
Mhm.
on wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that can definitely happen.
I think that you're ready to mentor, Irene. You should talk to the students. We have a podcast here with the architecture students, and they need this real life
Right.
experience. They
Yeah.
really do, because what we learn in school, it's
Yeah,
not.
no, it's nowhere. I
It's
mean, it prepares us for the basic things, but what you learn is through the practice doing it. I mean, and some people that come to me, like, students that come in, and just like basic measurements that you should know automatically.
exactly.
Counter heights, backsplash heights, I mean, table heights, chair heights, table, like little numbers that you as a designer should know. You're drawing things. Well, you got to know what these things are, so not make mistakes. So when you go back and you look at someone's drawings, you're like, well, wait, why'd you do that at that? The table is 30 inches. That's standard. Like,
Mhm.
so make sure you use the standard measurements and then go from there. So
I do have plans with you in mind to do a little bit of mentoring, because
Mhm.
I like to do activities, and I've
Right.
been thinking about going through like doing a workshop of mood board, putting
Mhm.
together your packages, the
Right.
FF&E, that things like that. I
Okay.
think that would be amazing, and
No,
having
great.
you
I'd
on board.
love to help out wherever I can,
Yeah, I
Next
know
generation
that.
coming.
We also have some pro bono projects in
Mhm.
which you have helped us tremendously with all your connections. I think you're a member of different organizations. I don't know
Right.
if you want to mention
Yeah.
those.
There's one that I've been involved with now for 15 years. Is Business Networking International, BNI.
Mhm.
So business is a networking. It's worldwide. So when I first joined it, a dentist friend of mine invited me to join, and I thought, oh, this is like, one of those Colts and what
Right.
for, and
What
networking,
took you to
and
enter the
the
organization? What
so,
inspired you to
well,
do
my
it?
friend recommended, and I was like, okay, let me see what it's all about. When I
Mhm.
walked in, I just saw a whole bunch of businessmen in suits, and I was like, this is boring. This isn't
Yeah.
for me. And then he's like, no, try. You'll see. It's been one of the best things that has done for getting a lot of clients that way too.
Okay.
And then just growing as a professional. Whenever you go in there, and the things they teach about networking
Mhm.
and how to speak your project, how to give a quick 30-second little mini commercial to introduce yourself and be precise about what you do. So it's been that, as well as
It
the
helps you
connections.
grow,
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely. And the connections you make with the people.
Mhm.
It's very category exclusive. So basically what they do is one designer, there's a lot of chapters.
Mhm.
My specific chapter, I'm the only interior designer, and then another chapter can have another interior designer, but it's to try to keep that the people are within your group refer to you and you refer to other people. But that has been amazing, and I've been also, since I've been in it, I mean, when I first started joining, I was like, I'm not sure about this, and then I became very much involved, and I became a president chapter, vice president chapter, director to another
Wow.
chapter. So over the years,
I'm glad
it's
we
been
touch
interesting.
on this subject, because I didn't know all that.
Mhm.
I just remember that when we started doing the collaborative project for Live Like Bella Cancer
Right.
Foundation, we asked who could contribute. And Irene found us everything. You got us the floor company that
Mhm.
offer their installation. You got us the paint
The paint,
company
right.
that got us the paint. So many people
Mhm.
that it's in your network that trust you,
Right.
that came just wanting to help.
Mhm.
So thank
Exactly.
you for all that, and
No,
you
thank you.
continue helping us all the time with resources,
Mhm.
with all the connections that you have, and
Thank
that
you.
you don't keep, that you share with
Yeah, no, I
with all of
definitely
us.
share. I definitely share with everybody, because it's not going to take anything away from me. And if I can help that person make some business, and then ultimately, that's great. So
Mhm.
I always share all my resources to my clients. But I don't hide that either. Like, you want it, this is where I find it, this is where I buy it. You can pay them directly. I don't try to hide things from them. It's very hands on book. I do it a little different than I think some most people, but it just there's no hidden anything. Can ask me anything and I'll answer it directly.
Yeah, I know.
So,
That's you.
mhm.
Thank you for doing that for all of us and for your clients.
Mhm.
And I was going to ask you, is there a particular project that you feel most proud of?
Oh God, every single one. You put your heart and soul into them.
It's true.
And just there's one residence right now that it's not a huge house, but it's one in Miami Lakes. That one, the client, he was hesitant, but I was like, just follow the process, believe in me. And the contractor, he was amazing too. And he's like, that's why you hired a designer, believe in her vision, pay attention. The house has come out beautiful. So like
It's already finished.
we are missing the dining room wall installation, like these
Mhm.
panels that we're doing. So that's the only thing. Everything else in, but the ceiling is we painted like a really, really dark gray. Who pays attention to painting a ceiling that strong? And it's gorgeous in my opinion. But
Yeah.
every project is beautiful.
I'm looking forward to see the
Yeah,
pictures.
thank you.
I had some questions prepared, and our conversation just flew. But I think I want to keep some of them. You founded Fister Design in 2008.
Correct.
What were some key lessons in building and sustaining the design firm through market shifts? You were battling. It was real estate crash.
Right,
How did you do it?
Just connections, I guess. Like being really
So
good friends.
construction never really stopped.
Yeah, no, construction never stopped, and higher end projects, it just always continued. So that's the other thing too. But maintaining those connections with all my wood cabinet guys, the flooring, the plumbers, the suppliers. I mean, they're crucial to what we do. So
Mhm.
then they would refer things, and it just kind of kept going. So and mostly back then it was traveling with the golf courses as well that they needed renovations. So that helped out.
And you do hospitality as well. So
Right.
have you noticed any post-pandemic shifts in hospitality clients' expectations or design priorities after pandemic? I think well, now you have to have a lot of rooms for remote connections.
Yeah, but they've always had a little bit of those computer rooms, where they have like business rooms that they have. I guess more than anything.
I guess the sanitizer everywhere.
Yeah, the sanitizers everywhere. That's true. I mean, I guess back then, a couple years ago, maybe more of the separation between people and that space that we have to have. Since that has all kind of dissipated, I think it's going back to sort of what it was
Normal.
before, right? More
Yeah.
normal.
Are there any trends or technologies that you're excited about or intentionally avoiding right now?
Gosh, trends or exciting avoiding? I don't think so. I think I take on everything that like, well, you just never know where the next thing or the next client's gonna want something. So, no, it's always a challenging and I love to learn. So like, if you see something like right now with AI, it's like, okay, there's like 20 different programs that can help you. So it's like sit there and like, okay, what does that one do? What does that one do? How can that one help me out? And learning. I wish there was someone that could narrow it down, be like, this one does this, and you could use that for
But like in design elements, we see a lot of things happening right now, like a lot of panels, coverings for walls. Do you see that trend staying?
I'm a little tired of that trend because I think we see it everywhere. So those little wood panels, 1 inch, 2 inches. I mean, when a client says, "Oh, how about some panels?" I'm like, "How about something different?"
Well, they've evolved, and now they're coming with totally different rhythms and different patterns. So I'm excited to see them change because, like you said, it was the same for a long time.
The other one that I am tired of is the Calacata marble that everybody wants Calacata, or now it's become, I guess, Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
every
Taj
project,
Mahal
everybody
is the
wants.
Calacata of today.
Exactly.
And what do you think about the round shapes in furniture? That's also
No, I think
a
that's
trend.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And
it has more of that organic feel and just
another one that's strong is the lime wash.
right.
Lime wash. I was thinking if I try to incorporate the lime wash, it's gonna go away in 5 years. But somebody said no, that's staying.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
It was around
gives
for a
some
while.
warmth.
It was around a while back, and
Yeah.
now it's just become like another trend. So I think everything is cyclical too.
Right.
They come back and they restart, but yeah, lime wash.
But like you said, we definitely just have to interpret the client's vision and use the elements that work in that vision. So I'm welcome to see all the trends coming and going, and it's always exciting for us.
Right. No, and for me, it's like I don't want any project to look like the other. I want each one to look absolutely individual. I mean, I find it beneficial when a client says, "Oh, I looked at your website or I looked at what you did, but there's nothing quite exactly how I want. Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
That's what
That
I
means it's
wanted.
going to be custom. It's going to be creative. It's going to be exactly what you need. Not like, oh, give me item number 2. That's not what I want from my clients. I want each one to be completely unique. It's much more fun for me, and I think it's better for them.
Well, that was an awesome closing because we've reached to the end, and
Thank you.
I love to have you back. Like I said, in any mentoring
No, anything you want.
activities. I think we have a lot to learn from your experiences, from everything you've done. Thank you for being
No,
here.
thank you. I've enjoyed it.
And
Thank you.
we'll see you at the court when we play
Absolutely.
again.
Hopefully this week.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Cindy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Until next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Creative Talks podcast. Your 5-star reviews really help us continue what we do. Please rate your listening experience, and let's keep building this beautiful community together. For exclusive access to more design content, visit thearchitecturalauthority.com or download our app from the App Store or Google Play. Until next time, take care and keep creating.